Hey everybody, Frank Chen here with REIClub.com, the only site you'll need as a real estate investor. Today's quick video, we're going to talk about some procedures and checklists that you can follow as a landlord when your tenant decides to move out. Now, like in all my videos, I talk about a lot of stuff that I include in the description below, so simply click the show more button, you can follow right along. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about the 30-day notice, the final walkthrough, and then the refunding of the security deposit. So anytime a tenant decides to move out, they need to provide you with a 30-day written notice, and I make sure that it's done via certified mail, so I know for a fact that they sent it to me and that I did receive it. I also like to remind them that they should pay attention to disconnecting their cable and their internet service and to return all equipment so I'm not stuck with it or the new tenant's not stuck with it. Also, make sure you remind them to change their address to their new address by simply doing it on the USPS.gov. That way your new tenant is not receiving their old mail. Now, the home should be in the condition at move-in, minus any normal wear and tear, which should have been discussed prior to them moving in the first time. Now, I do like to streamline the process, so anytime I do receive the 30-day notice, I like to confirm with the tenant and then send them a checklist, or I call it the move-out checklist, of items they need to work on prior to the final walkthrough. I also like to include costs for these types of services, maybe cleaning, replacements, this and that, so they're very aware and kind of incentivized to do it themselves, okay? Now, I've included 17 items in the description below, and there are a lot more that you can use as well, but these are kind of the basic items you should focus on. I'm just going to cover a few now. The first one is make sure that they clean all debris and remove all items from the property. It excludes the garage, the front yard, the backyard, the closets. Any items that are like bigger, make sure they do take care of that because it can be a huge hassle for you. Also, make sure that all light fixtures must be cleaned, light bulbs must be in working order, okay? Basically, anything in the property, including air filters that were in that property that were working and new, need to be that way when they move out. So if they need to replace it, spend their own money to clean it, then make sure they are very aware of this, okay? Also, it's very common for nails to be in walls due to portraits. I simply just had them request to move all the nails out but leave the holes because they don't have the experience of patching it up correctly. So more than likely, we're going to have to go right back through and redo it anyways. So typically just have them remove the nails. Make sure the yard is taken care of, okay? And if need be, check out the carpet condition. If a simple vacuum will take care of it, great. If not, make sure that it's commercially shampooed and conditioned, okay? Or the equivalent. Just simply have them provide you with the receipt as proof, okay? And of course, you can go and look for yourself to make sure that it was done. More importantly, make sure they have no unpaid late charges or delinquent rents. If they do, then the security deposit should not even be in discussion until these are taken care of. Make sure they return all the keys and garage openers for security purposes. And of course, make sure to leave any connections that were on, like refrigerator or appliances, already in. That way you don't have any leaking issues or problem like with a freezer, which is very common. Now, if they have any questions, make sure they just have them refer to the condition form, which they filled out when they first moved in, as a reference, okay? Now, once again, guys, I know I'm going through these rather quickly. Just click the show more button. I've included everything in the description. Okay, let's talk about the final walkthrough. Now, I like to use the property condition form that they first filled out. Okay, and really, there's just a few items I like to go over. Okay, so I would like to spend about 30 to 60 minutes to thoroughly go through the property. Make sure you turn on and off all the lights and switches. Make sure everything's working there. Run the water, but more importantly, check for any leaks under the sinks. Test all the appliances, especially the ones that you've included, washer, dryer, dishwasher. Check the garage door openers. Make sure they're still working. Flush the toilets. Check the drainage. Run the garbage disposal, the exhaust fans, anything electrical that may be turned on and off. Test those out, okay? Most importantly, test out the air conditioning. Make sure everything's working there. Check the air filter. Make sure they replace that. Check all the rooms, closets. Make sure there's no debris anywhere. And of course, point out anything that's not in the condition form and make a note of that for them to kind of later address or address immediately. Like I said before, spend about 60 minutes is a good thorough check. And of course, if any repairs or touch-ups need to be done, I usually give the tenant about 3 to 7 days to find a cheaper alternative. Otherwise, I'll just take money out of the deposit and then do it myself, okay? Now, provide ample time between the old tenant and the new tenant for the home to be ready. So if they give you a 30-day notice, 7 days prior to that 30 days, make sure you schedule that final walkthrough. You don't want overlap to inconvenience your new tenant and delay their move-in, okay? Now, final thing we want to talk about, the security deposit refunds. I have to hold the deposit for about 7 days. This allows for the home for any additional repairs and cleaning that need to be done prior to the new tenant moving in. Now, it's very important as a landlord that any deductions that you make, it's very important that they have to be justifiable and that they do not contradict the original lease agreement, okay? How you do that is make sure you have a written, itemized list of repairs, unpaid rents, replacements, cleanings, okay? And of course, you want to request for their new address so you can mail them their deposit. This is also good because in case they do owe you money, you know where their new address is. I say this because a lot of times tenants will leave you with a deposit even though they owe you a lot more simply to escape those costs. Okay. Now be aware that some states do have 30-day deadlines, so abide by those laws and be sure you to check with your local housing departments on what that is. And of course, send a certified. Once you refund the security deposit, send a secure signature receipt that has been done via certified mail just to cover your butt, okay? Now, of course, guys, that the tenant move-in process is just as important as the moving-in process. It's important that you are very thorough and clear with the instructions that you do give to your tenant. It'll make things much easier for you. Now, be sure that you do justify any deductions with from their initial deposit and make sure everything is done in writing, okay, and use receipts. They're great. Most importantly, be sure to protect your home after your tenant moves out. Change the lock, secure the windows, pretty much just prepare the home to be ready for your next tenant. Again, guys, and I know I went through this really quick, a lot of cover. Frank Chen with REIClub. Please take the time to leave comments below about what you thought about the video. Click the like button because it really does help us out, but more importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can keep you informed when brand new videos are posted every week. As usual, thank you so much for your time and continued support. I look forward to talking to you next week. Take care, good investing, and bye-bye.